Sawadee krap, I'm JP Mestanza. Today is Wednesday, April 23. You're watching Phuket Extra, brought to you by pbcphuket.com. Let's kick things off with a national story, as Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra is now ordering a formal review of the visa-free entry scheme after several instances of visitors overstaying and working illegally here in Thailand. The visa-free entry scheme began last year and allowed citizens of 93 countries to visit Thailand for purposes of tourism, business, and temporary work. Visitors are allowed to stay up to 60 days with the option of a 30-day extension, a full 90 days all included. However, concerns over unauthorized employment, legal violations, and security has led officials to rethink the program. During Tuesday's cabinet meeting in Bangkok, Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra ordered the Foreign Affairs, the Interior, and Tourism ministries to look into the impact of the scheme on national security, labor regulation, and tourism management. Officials have made it known that they intend to adjust the policy, possibly to reduce the length of stay from 60 days to 90 days, all in a bid to strike a balance between promoting tourism and ensuring legal compliance. While the scheme has helped to boost local economies around the country and the tourism industry at large, it has also led to a rising number of visa overstays and illegal employment, according to officials, with some overstaying tourists found to have been performing jobs that are solely reserved for Thai nationals, from illegally running tour firms and even hotels. For more, visit thephuket.news.com. The Provincial Waterworks Authority, the PWA, in Phuket is calling on all residents to conserve water and report any pipe breakages as the island enters the final stretch of the dry season. The PWA issued a reminder on Tuesday for Earth Day about the importance of responsible water use, with officials calling on all residents and tourists of Phuket, both foreign and Thai, to conserve water whenever they can. The PWA suggested practical steps such as installing water-saving shower heads, using containers to rinse fruits and vegetables, reusing laundry water for cleaning, and collecting rainwater for non-potable uses like gardening and washing cars. At the moment, the island's three main reservoirs are still holding water as the dry season comes to a conclusion. This season has seen more sporadic showers, and officials say that as of yesterday, the Bangwan Reservoir in Katu is 23% full. The Bang Nhau Dam Reservoir in Sri Sutorn stands at 42% capacity, and the Klong Kata Reservoir in Chalong is 44% full. The call to conserve water comes just as a water pipe near the Bangku intersection on Tepkrasatri Road in Koh Keo burst on Tuesday afternoon. Reports say that a geyser of water shot up to 10 meters into the air during the incident, though PWA technicians were able to shut off the valve to control the damaged main, which connects to a nearby bridge. Officials are urging the public to immediately report any similar incidents, and the PWA can be reached on the numbers now on your screen. For more, visit thephuket.news.com. Complaints of environmental damage and illegal development has prompted local officials to inspect a hillside construction site in Karon this week. The site is located along Soi Patak 12 in Karon. The director of the Phuket Natural Resources and Environment Office, along with other top local officials, inspected the site this week following concerns by local residents on social media. They cited soil erosion from the construction site spilling onto nearby roads. This week's inspection sought to collect factual details to support potential legal action that would be sent to relevant authorities. This isn't the first time this specific location has drawn attention, as last week Phuket MP Chalermpong Sangdi visited the area after vegetation had been cleared. He identified the project as a capsule-style accommodation development currently under construction. Following heavy rainfall, sediment and sand washed down from the site, dirtying the road surface and causing concern among locals. This prompted a temporary halt to construction, with measures put in place to reduce further erosion. For more, visit thephuket.news.com. Nearly 13 years after a Bangkok police officer was killed in an early morning hit and run, two people are now being sentenced in connection with the case. But it's not the man believed to have been behind the wheel, the heir of the Red Bull empire in Thailand, who is currently on the run. Shortly before 5:30 a.m. on the morning of September 3, 2012, a Ferrari driven by Vorayut Yuvidya, who goes by the nickname Boss, drove into a motorcycle driven by Police Senior Sergeant Major Wichian Klamprasert in Bangkok's Tonglo district. The officer's body was dragged about 200 meters before he was dislodged from the vehicle, and Boss Red Bull drove off, leaving the scene. Initially, his bodyguard attempted to take the rap for him, but ultimately, police learned that Boss was behind the wheel. Reports say that he was possibly on drugs at the time, and a long investigation followed with 3 charges pressed against him. However, as the years passed, and despite initially meeting with police shortly after the crash, Boss Red Bull never spent one night in jail for running over and killing a Bangkok police officer. In 2017, Boss fled the country, and as time passed, the statute of limitations for each charge began to expire. After a brief moment in which the Attorney General's office attempted to clear all the charges against him, ultimately, when the dust cleared, one charge remained. That of reckless driving causing death, the penalty for which is a 10-year prison sentence. This charge expires in 2027. Nate Naksuk was the Deputy Attorney General, and Chainarong Sangtang Aram was a senior prosecutor in July of 2020, when they attempted to drop all remaining charges against Boss Red Bull, which caused widespread outrage. This week, the criminal court ruled that both were derelict in their duty for this move, including Sangtong Aram, who collaborated to alter witness statements and reduce the reported speed of the Ferrari. Naksuk was sentenced to 3 years in prison for dereliction of duty, while Sangtong Aram was sentenced to 2 years in prison. However, both were released on 200,000 baht bail pending appeal. Meanwhile, the court also acquitted 6 defendants, including Police General Somyot Pumpamwang, who was the national police chief at the time, with the charges related to the change in the recorded speed of the Ferrari driven by Boss Red Bull. At last report, Boss Red Bull's family, the Uvidias, were listed as Asia's 8th wealthiest family, with a net worth of $25.7 billion, according to a Bloomberg report from earlier this year. For more, visit thephuket.news.com. The 3 Thai nominees connected to the construction firm that was part of the collapsed state audit office building in Bangkok are now in custody. The collapse of the 30-story building in Bangkok back on March 28 was the result of an earthquake about 1,000 kilometers away in Myanmar that claimed the lives of at least 51 people at last count, with another 43 people still missing, according to officials. In the wake of the collapse, a slew of investigations were launched into the doomed partially built project, and so far, the Department of Special Investigation, the DSI, have centered their investigation on China Railway No. 10 Thailand Co. Ltd., a Thai subsidiary of a Chinese state-owned construction firm that was partnering with a local firm to build the tower. Late last week, the sole foreign executive of the company, Zhang Chuangling, who holds 49% of shares in the Thai subsidiary, was arrested for breaching the Foreign Business Act. He was granted 500,000 baht bail earlier this week. He was one of 4 executives named in documents as the shareholders of the company, and the other 3 are Thai nationals. Officials believe that Zhang arranged for the 3 Thais to own shares on his behalf, and that he is truly in control. Well, the remaining 3 Thai nationals surrendered to police on Monday and were arraigned in court on Tuesday. All 3 denied the charges against them. However, authorities are now holding them in custody for 12 days as the investigation continues. Investigators learned that all 3 worked as loaders and drivers. Their backgrounds did not convince authorities that they could hold down executive positions in a company. For more, visit thephuket.news.com. We really appreciate you joining us here on this Wednesday edition of Phuket Extra, brought to you by pbcphuket.com. Join us again tomorrow. Until then, stay classy, Phuket.
Phuket's rapid modernization has made it one of the world's premier holiday destinations. Investors can still buy quality condominiums for as low as $75,000, and luxury properties can go all the way up to 20 million. Condominiums in Phuket are a safe, secure bricks-and-mortar investment, offering foreigners freehold ownership. Call or email Thai Residential, Phuket's #1 trusted real estate advisor, to find your perfect Phuket property.